We're live. Welcome aboard, everybody. You just need to relax, calm down. Fly in Formation is back. I took the 2 months off over the summer, but yeah, this is my interview series. It's a spin-off of my weekly mix show, which is called After the Smoke is Clear or at Sick Radio. I play independent Canadian hip hop every week, an hour worth. It's all Canadian every week, and I never play anything twice over there. So if you're looking to stay up to date with, the music that comes out from the Canadian hip hop scene, tap in. Mixcloud.com/Doobyis is where you can find that. And of course, Doobyis.com is the hub for that, as well as these interviews. I appreciate people coming through on Twitch to sit and chat with us live. If anybody's here, feel free to, say hi, ask questions if you got them. I do my best to watch chat. And, if you ask something really clever, I might pretend that I made it up and ask Chadio. But today, I've got, well, I was going to have two different guests with me today. Maybe the Gumshoe Strut arrives. I'm not sure. We'll see. Hopefully everything's okay on his end. But today, I am joined so far by Chadio, illustrious West Coast-based MC who's been doing the damn thing for a long time. New album with the Gumshoe Strut. It's called Root Sellers. I recommend everybody goes and checks that out if you haven't already. What's it been out for? Like a couple of months now already?
Yeah, I think it came out in like April this year.
Yeah, yeah. We were trying to set up a time to talk before, the July break hit for me, but I'm glad that we could make time to connect over it this week, man. Thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm doing really good. Things are
And on.
good. Things are lovely. Life is fucking
Uh,
awesome.
settling into the new situation there. You said you just got through a move.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this is I've never owned a house before. Like this is something I never thought would be like a possibility in my life. I grew up very very poor, and fucking all the jobs I ever worked in life were like super shitty, just like scraping to get by type shit. Work was having a
Can
job
relate,
was just
man.
yeah, having a job was just like a paycheck to get by kind of thing. And the most recent thing that I've just been doing for work um, is just super lucrative. It's like I'm making way more money than I ever have, and I'm just in a position now to be able to comfortably make mortgage payments. Like I wasn't by any means able to afford the down payment. So don't think like I'm balling like that. Like my dad paid for the down
Sure.
payment on the house, but the
Yeah.
whole game plan is he's going to move up here in a couple years once he retires. So
Nice.
this is
Yeah.
just like a little starter home for like me and the dogs and stuff. And yeah,
Hey,
just moved in last.
congratulations, man. Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
But
It's like yeah, it's yeah, it's crazy.
it's
Thank you
not
very much.
easy in today's economy
Hell no.
to get that shit together. So yeah, it's always good to see fellow artists who are managing to, you know, make the struggle work, make the artist struggle come together into some sort of sustainable lifestyle, which often comes down to having some other career. It's good you found a lucrative one. Um, yeah, man. So you've been doing this thing a long time, dude. I often kind of just start these interviews real vague and just ask guys if they could describe their individual sound musically. Um, you want to take a crack at that?
Yeah. I mean, I personally feel like my journey musically has been like it's personal, you know what I mean? Like it's always very like documentational and just like kind of when I drop it's kind of like where I'm at that stage in life, rapping about like what's going on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My projects are like mixed bags, so, like you don't really know what you're going to get with the Chadio album until you like kind of dive into it. So, yeah, I'm a major like underground nerd, but I also like mainstream rap as well too, and I like other kinds of music. So it's like I don't really think of myself as a rapper per se. I'm just like a dude who likes a lot of different music who happens to rap. You know,
Word. Yeah. In your day to day life, do you tell people, like, do the people you work with know that you're a rapper?
some of them do. I like tried to keep lid on it for like a long time because the job's like pretty corporate, and it's like the stuff I wear for work. It's like you know, you'd be shocked to like know or like yeah, it's like
It's
Yeah, there's
not a
no
position you imagine a rapper having. Hey, like,
yeah, there's
yeah,
no other rappers where I work and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, but a few of them know, and like they call me Chadio and shit like that is just like, you know, a nickname. I don't know if like they actually like listen to the music or check for the stuff, but like they know I rap.
They're aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, man. So I guess let's get right to root sellers. What should people expect from it? You said like you kind of like to change it up album to album, and people shouldn't be uh too comfortable in what to expect from you album to album. What about this one?
Yeah, I mean, this was just like a collection of songs that me and BJ happened to make over Instagram. We have like a chat with like just a few rap homies and stuff, and it's kind of like, you know, you make some beats, you can post them in the chat, all the homies can kind of check it out and give feedback. Unfortunately, it's never any negative feedback, like because it's all
Yeah.
like the homies and stuff. So it's like it's more just like, here, check this out, and like BJ would just like post like, you know, stacks of beats here and there, and I'd listen to them every single time he dropped. I've known BJ for years. Obviously, we've been friends for a long time, and I've always kind of admired his production ability, and the beats he's been making lately are just like crazy. Like he's gotten so much better at, like, I don't know. He's always been good at making beats, but like the stuff that he's been making lately have are just been like different, you know.
I
So
guess in his absence, can you give like a little history of the Gumshoe Strut? Like I saw he had worked on a project with Epic in like 2000, and I was like, oh, I mean, I knew Buddy had been around for a while, but I didn't know
yeah,
quite that far back on 830 in Newfoundland. Yeah,
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 yeah. So it's like, as my understanding is kind of like him and Yai were the kind of like the younger dudes who like were friends of the Peanuts and Corn guys,
okay.
but kind of like, you know, like like the dudes who like, you know, wanted to be down or whatever, and it's like we're just like a couple years too young kind of thing or whatever. But they had another crew as well called Your Brother in My Backpack. You ever heard of them?
No, no, that's
No.
new to
Okay.
me.
So
No,
Your Brother in My Backpack was like Gumshoe, Yai, John Smith, General Gist, I think that's how you pronounce it. And they have like one or two songs. One is on the Peanuts and Corn Factory Seconds album, and can't remember or I think the other one is on like a John Smith or Gumshoe Strut album. But yeah, anyways, that's like their super old crew from back in the day. And then Yai
when
and
you say
Gumshoe,
Yai, that's the dude who spells his name with two Y's, right? I'm
yeah,
guessing. Yeah, okay. I've
yeah,
never known how to pronounce that dude's name. I've seen
yeah,
plenty of music with him on it, but I yeah have
yeah.
always wondered.
Yeah, so there's actually a song he has on his album "Hold the Fort Down" called "Yai," and then he like that's the chorus. It's like he like pronounces it and stuff, and it's like,
I've been
yeah,
sleeping. I've been sleeping. I got to check that.
it's a good one because like, yeah, the beat's super live too. You'd like it. It's a good song.
Nice man.
Um, but yeah, Yai and Gumshoe are kind of like, you know, they're best buddies and stuff. So they did an album like a long time ago called the Milch and Allegra EP, and they're
Okay.
kind of like, that's like a Winnipeg kind of classic, like an underground classic for sure. You know what I mean? Um, yeah,
Has he been
I don't.
Winnipeg based his entire
Oh yeah,
career? Like, okay,
yeah,
yeah, okay, cool,
100%.
nice. Well, I mean, you guys smashed it on this new album. I really liked the vibe of all the beats that he. I don't know how it really came together, whether those were all the beats he sent you or whether you
No,
picked from a large variety, but one way
yeah.
or the other, they all work well together, I think. Um,
Cheers. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, when he would like have a stack of beats, I'd pick out like, you know, two at a time kind of thing, and then we'd have like, you know, two, four, six, eight songs. I kind of wish like the album was a little bit longer, but it's, you know, we were sitting on those songs for a while, and I just wanted to get them out.
yeah,
But yeah,
fair enough. I wondered there was a track I want to say on the opening track on what fucking track was that called? Bring It Back, I think.
yeah,
There was a bar where you say something about like feeling like I lost my stride until the breakup last year, and I was like, how many breakups is this fucking guy
no,
going through? Are we?
yeah,
Didn't you have an album with the Dirty Sample like 2021 No Wives Club? Like how
exactly.
many
So,
wives you going through, bro?
yeah, so I was like, I wrote the Gumshoe songs like around that period.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I was
So
definitely referring to that that breakup and no other one.
sure. So it's been a while coming together then. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting when you mentioned that you guys have a group chat and that nobody ever really gives anyone any negative critiques in friend groups around hip hop. Um, have you
Yeah.
ever known rappers to like actually critique one another's bars? I feel like it's such a personal thing that like even my best rapper homies, like I would never tell them like, yeah, that bar could probably be something else. Like,
It's true. It's true. Like I don't know what it is, but like I don't know. I think maybe it's just like uh yeah, like maybe you wouldn't tell your homie, but like maybe you just wouldn't like promote promote
you just
their
silently don't support it. That's that's what it actually happens. I think. Yeah.
oh man. Yeah.
Uh, it's rough out there, but
Yeah.
how about so the name of this album, Root Cellars, I thought it was clever. I liked that. And I was thinking about it today and I kind of like could take that in one of two ways in that like, you're selling the roots of this culture because that's what you're still sticking to, so that's what you're selling, I guess. But then you could kind of also look at it with like a negative connotation about like maybe selling out the roots of the culture, kind of like are roots something that are
Mm.
supposed to be sold
Mm.
like that, right? So I
Interesting.
wanted to ask you, like, what's your take on
Do
the
you know
what's
what
it mean to you?
do you know what a root cellar is, Dubious?
Yeah, yeah, like on before they had refrigeration, they'd have the hole in the ground you could walk down into. My grandma's old cabin had some steps
Yeah.
down into like a root cellar that was chilly in the summer, so you could
Yeah.
store
So I
food and
mean
shit.
like that was like the obviously, where my mind was first off, and then it was like, oh,
And so
play
it's
on
underground,
words.
right? So that you get the
Yeah.
underground reference in there too. I did think of that earlier today. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like going for is like, it's like Rudy, it's underground, you know what I mean? But then like flipping it from like a cellar, which is like underground to like seller, like I'm gonna sell you some, it's like sole provider.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
the
for
I'm the
sure.
I'm the sole provider, but I'm
I
the
like
sole
that.
provider. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, for real. So I wanted to ask though, like, kind of just riffing off of my interpretation and question about that name. Like, uh, do you think it's still a bad thing? Is it even still possible for an artist to sell out? Like in the current culture that we're in, I feel like when I was younger, I can remember like, oh, Aerosmith is on a car commercial. They sold out, or I don't know what fucking classic rock band was having headlines like that about them, one after the
Right.
next. But like at this point, it's kind of expected, right? Like
Yep.
that's how you make money because nobody's selling much music. So you gotta,
Exactly. It's
mm,
yeah. It's I think it's like if you're trying to like approach music the way that me and my friends are still, where it's just like it's a hobby. We do it because we love it. Like there's no trying to fucking blow up or anything like that. I think that's like people are like thinking like we're fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like how are you
yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like why would you drop if you're trying to if you don't give a shit? It's like I don't know. Yeah.
A lot of people can't wrap their mind around the fact that there are MCs who just rap because they like to rap, and that's a thing that they're good at doing. And like it's a I had a different grandma who painted in her basement, and she would just have like all these fucking paintings that they never went into a gallery or whatever, but that was what she liked to do, and so she did that. And like I think there's something powerful about kind of just the freedom of expression that comes with accepting that, like, well, I don't really need to make money off this to be happy with it.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing with like having a job the whole time, you know what I mean? Like I've always had a job like ever ever since I've been an adult. So this has always just been like a secondary thing, It's like I don't know, we live in Canada. It's so fucking hard to travel, like
Yeah,
to get places and shit. And like especially when like I don't know, when me and the homies were all killing it when we were like 20 like in our 20s and shit, like we didn't have cars or fucking money or nothing, you know what I mean?
right.
Now
Yeah.
now it's a little bit different. Like I would love to like fucking go on tour or some shit and like I don't know, like just fucking be comfortable and fucking pay for shit and like whatever. That'd be fun.
I mean,
I
at
don't
this
know.
point, you got the artistic chops and I think the like longevity of resume that you could probably get some touring grants and shit, couldn't you? How does the grant system treat you throughout your career?
I don't think it would be grants. It would just be like it would be me like just paying out of pocket and just like having fun
Okay,
and shit.
sure.
You know what I mean?
So
But
you've hit the stage where it's lucrative enough that you don't need to grovel for the grants, is what you're telling me. Okay.
no,
Yeah.
no. But like I'm so rusty too. Like I don't play shows at all ever. Like so it's like I don't even know if I could do a fucking half hour set or 45-minute set. I would
Right.
be like dying by the end. Like
It's
all I
got to be
do is
like riding a bike. That's what I tell myself, man. I haven't been on stage for fucking 10 years either at this point, but
I'll tell
it's
you what though, like I need the exercise because like all I do is sit around and smoke blunts, and it's like fucking. I used to like like smoke weed and like work on music and like smoke weed and like write and shit, and it's like I don't do any of that anymore, and it's like I got to get back to it. I feel like
mm,
the vibe is coming back though now that I've moved into this new place. I started working on some new beats yesterday, and like I bought a stack of records and shit to sample. So
nice.
looking forward to diving back in. I got like, dude, I have like the whole SP collection. I've got. Do you know what the SP is? Like the SP
Yeah, yeah,
sampler.
yeah.
So I have a
The 404
202.
is the one that I've seen most commonly, I think,
So I've
right?
got a 202, a 303, a 404, and the new 404.
Damn.
And like, I, ah, yeah, I just want to set them up all like all in a row and get a picture and shit.
Just for the picture, or because the workflow, there's no real reason to have them all connected, is there? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
That makes sense.
each piece is like quirky and like good for its own thing. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Uh, yeah, like,
I
dude,
was
the beats I've made on the SP202 are like madness. Like they're so simple and there's like nothing to them, but they're like some of my favorite beats like I've ever made. Just because like you put the sample in and then you just pitch it down, and what it does to the fucking sample, it's like I can't even describe it. Like no other machine fucking can recreate it. Like there's a pitch feature on the new 404, and it doesn't even do shit, or like it's not the same.
huh.
So.
I noticed listening to the album today, there was a bar in there where you said something about, I don't know, new gear and how you waited till it dropped in price and then copped it twice. And uh, I wanted to ask you whether that was specifically music gear or whether we were talking about, like, is that a fashion advice tip? Is that just general tip on any tech you're buying? Like,
No,
uh,
there was a it was in reference to the 404 MK2 because I was like waiting. Yeah, I was like waiting like a year for it to come. Or what the fuck happened? Oh yeah, a year for it to become like available or something like that in my region.
oh,
And
right. It
then
was one of those ones that's like a limited drop where only people who pre-order it get it and shit. Yeah.
exactly. And then I wanted to have like a second one on hand for some reason. So I was trying to flip my first one and ended up having one for a minute. But yeah, it's like workflow, having too much gear that you just never end up using and stuff. I got rid of it.
Right. So do you think the next project we see from you will likely be like self-produced then?
Oh, 100%. So I'm like sitting on some shit right now. Well, I'm still sitting on like a few projects, but the main thing I'm kind of looking forward to dropping after or like my next like rap project, let's say, is going
Yeah.
to be this thing called Draw Something, and it's all beats by me. And like I had Draw Something one like ready to go, and like I just like kept making tunes and stuff to the point where it's like I had enough stuff for Draw Something two, and now I just kind of feel like I'm just gonna whittle down the whole thing and just like have fucking Draw Something just be like one big massive project, like
Combine the two
vinyl.
potential albums into one. Okay.
Yeah, but because yeah, it's like I recorded like 60 tracks for it, and then like I whittled everything down to like 10 for like the first Draw Something, and then I just like I said kept making tunes, and the beats were like getting better and stuff too. So it's like I actually prefer like because like Draw Something's like 4 years old now. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
I've just been
Yeah.
sitting on it, but it's the next thing I'm like ready to put out because I made all the beats on it myself, and I'm super proud of it, and I can't wait to drop that whenever it happens. Probably next year sometime.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So with this one, with the beats on this one, you mentioned that they weren't handpicked by Gumshoe. What did he send over, or how did you guys put this together?
So it's like on the Instagram chat, he'd like post up like just like a file folder of beats, and I would like listen to them all and then be like, "Hey, I want this one, this one, this one," kind of thing. And then
Yeah.
like he'd put them aside for me. But one of them in particular, I think it was uh, uh, I can't remember what song now, but yeah, I ended up like writing a song to it as well.
Right.
And Gumshoe's like, "Yo, Danny wants that beat." I was like, "Fuck, all right, yeah, sure, no
Slept too
problem."
long. Yeah, I was
Well,
gonna say it's a lot
no,
of faith that a producer has in an MC to give him beats and let him sit on them for 4 years before releasing them or
I
whatever.
had
Right?
I had a song and everything. It wasn't like I slept. And
Oh,
Danny
okay.
just like, yeah, Danny had a song too, and he just like really wanted that beat, and I was like, it's all good, beats come and go. I know BJ's gonna make something else that's gonna be fucking just as crazy or crazier for that track. So he
Right.
did, and yeah, it all worked out in the end. I think it was the track with Asriel Raps Good on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember the track. I can't think of the title off the top of my head. Let me see. That's Peace
peace
with
with
the
the pace.
Pace. Yeah,
Yeah,
Peace with the Pace.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dope track. Is Azzy on the album twice, or was that?
He is,
Yeah,
yeah,
he is
because
too, right? Lifers, he's on there too.
correct. Yeah, because so like I said, it's like Gumshoe and Yai have like their rap group. I don't know if they ever were officially a rap group, but they were just like a rap duo or whatever because they were homies. And then me and Azrael have our rap group, obviously. So it's like we always wanted to do a track with the four of us, and that's kind
Yeah,
of how that came about.
nice man. Um, on Haste Make Waste Makes Waste, you kind of are debating and kicking around the idea of like whether or not, at least my interpretation of what you're talking about on there, of whether or not your music is better now than it was then, and kind of how time can pass and make an MC better. Do you think your music is objectively better now than it was then?
It's different because like I know that when I go back and I listen to some of certain older projects, I'm kind of like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like, oh shit, like yeah, I'm killing it. You know what I mean? Like I
I think
definitely
most
feel like
musicians tend to feel that way about a project after a while, right?
yeah, I feel like I know how to write and express myself better now rather than just like stringing words together to fucking rap. You know what I mean? I feel like
Nice.
that was a big part of like my style way like a decade, 15 years ago, whatever, was just like just saying shit. You know what I mean? With like no real substance behind it. It just like sounded cool
Right.
flow, like cool
Kind of
delivery,
braggadocio
whatever.
raps or whatever.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
whatever, like flowing, styling on kids, whatever. But like now it's like more like if I'm gonna say something, like I want to say something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What did you just say? Because there was something I was gonna say about that. What
Mm.
was the question? Like that led
I
up to that?
asked about on Haste Make Waste. You kind
Oh
of are
yeah.
debating kind
Yo,
of
do you
whether
know
you've got better or not with age.
do you know who Ishkan is?
Name rings a bell, but no, can't say I know
No.
much about.
So like he's in a crew with like Mocha Only. Like
Right.
he's kind of like an old school like Victoria, Vancouver rap or whatever. And he has a
Okay.
song called Expiry Dates, and that's kind of where I lifted part of the chorus from was that song.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's like a direct reference, the chorus to that track.
An homage, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's classic. Hip hop is built off of that, right? So
Hmm.
no shame in that at all. Something else I heard, and you kind of mentioned it before we went live on screen here, but you were talking about out in Kamloops, there's not much going on, and you might have to start up like a monthly thing or something like that eventually. And I had already written down here and was going to ask you, how come you don't give a fuck about open mics? There's a bar on the album where you say something about how you can't give a fuck about an open mic, and I mean, I think I probably understand the sentiment, but I just want to hear you say it, really.
Yeah, I thought it was just like something funny to say. It's like I would definitely go rock an open mic. I'm not like above open mics at all. I just thought it was like a cheeky, cheeky line. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, they can be trying. Sometimes
Oh yeah.
it's not the greatest scene at the open mics, but I
Oh,
think they help the
if it
scene. They, you know,
if it's a packed open mic where you have to like show up like 3 hours before and like like sit through a
get your name on
million.
a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's not the vibe.
Yeah. Well, I don't imagine there will be that type of list to wait behind in Kamloops. There's probably
No,
three hippie guys that can spit some freestyles or something out there. I can't think of
dude.
any rappers off the top of my head from Kamloops. I mean, aside from yourself
Uh,
now, I guess.
yeah, that's actually a good point. I thought like too like I mean maybe they just haven't received the album yet, but I thought this album would be blowing up on the college charts in Kamloops, and like
Right.
haven't heard a peep yet. It's all good. We'll get there. But
Yeah, college charts are something else. Sometimes I play the shit out of people's albums, and then I see the college charts and they're not on it, and I'm like, is
what?
CKXU not reporting this shit, or like,
Weird. Oh, that's
am
bizarre.
I not logging them properly, or yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of fuckery to make sure that people actually get their, I don't know, whatever it is, 2 cents for a radio play from Factor, or some shit
Well, I
like
mean,
that.
like,
I
hey,
think,
man, if it helps people get grants and it's like a contributing
yeah,
factor towards that kind of shit, like,
it's a good
fuck yeah.
accolade to have. Sure, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead if you had something else to say. I was going to ask another question, but
I think I did, but I don't remember what it was.
that's all good. We'll go on. I got a bunch of questions just about bars that I heard today. I've taken to just like listening through an album before I do one of these interviews and just like asking shit that pops into my head. But there's a bar on there where you say that you're only wearing black now, and it's not because you're sad. What the fuck is that? Or something along those lines. I'm probably butchering some of these bars. I'm
Yeah,
paraphrasing back to you, but
yeah.
I've always personally looked at people who dress in all black and kind of thought to myself, like, we get it. You're sad. Get over yourself. And honestly, that's kind of my opinion on anybody who's real particular with how they dress. Like, get over yourself a little bit. I'm not a big fashionista kind of fan guy. It doesn't really draw me in like that. But what's your thoughts on fashion? Are you looks like you're all in black right now. true to
I
true to the lyric.
got, I got a color hat, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
yeah, I'm not gonna front. I'm a brand whore. Like, I don't buy anything unless it's brand name.
sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I like clothes. It's funny, like I have fucking such a like I don't wear any of them anymore because the more time goes on and I get older, I think I'm growing out of a lot of the shit that like I used to like or
Sure.
thought was like my style or my vibe. Like I'm definitely wearing things that like fit me a lot better nowadays. And yeah, I was just going through a whole bunch of shit today, and I'm like, fuck, like never gonna wear this, never gonna wear this. Like I gotta have a yard sale soon so I can get rid of all this shit and just like kind of start fresh and
Yeah.
just like clear house. I've been like traveling around with like these like big ass shirts that like I don't wear anymore for like a long ass time and shit.
Old
Um,
school style. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. I still like baggy clothes and shit like that and stuff. I don't know. But
Fair
like
enough.
I don't have a place to wear it, especially out here. I have no friends out here. There's nowhere to go, and like I'm not gonna fucking dress up nice to like chill at home. You know what I mean? So
That
yeah,
makes a lot of sense, man. Yeah. I think as we age too, it just becomes less and less important to like be
hundred
showing out
percent.
like that. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and like it's weird too because like I still catch myself like looking on like Instagram and I'm like, oh, like, ooh, like fuck, like 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 I want to cop this, but it's like I'm kind of like, but like no, like where the fuck, like it's gonna sit in a fucking drawer or like in a bag or like just somewhere where it's.
yeah,
Bro, I went to Japan last year to go shopping, and like fucking most of the shit that I bought is like still fucking sitting unworn, like like a year later. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. That's tough. I mean, Japan, the fashion's going to be ahead by a little bit compared to when you get back to Canadian soil and try to put that on. People are going to be like, "What is this?"
Dude,
A
I
lot
didn't
of
go
the time,
crazy,
I think.
bro. I went to like fucking Carhartt Japan, and like
Oh, okay.
like
All right.
yeah,
All right.
like nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I
Sure.
didn't buy like any like crazy like fucking fashion statement pieces or nothing like that, but like a bathing ape shirt and like a Carhartt shirt and just like Carhartt socks and like nowhere to wear it. And yeah, I just feel like I have too much clothes to be buying any new shit.
That's fair, man.
I don't know what the fuck to spend my money on.
Jeez,
Traveling
that is a
is
good
what's up.
problem to have. I mean, you sound like you're balling out of control, man. I've never heard anybody say I went to Japan to go shopping. That's like some
Well,
what are you, Pharrell? Like who's going to Japan for a shopping trip? Holy shit, man!
that's hilarious. It
Stopped in
wasn't
at the Bape store, you know.
dubious.
I
Dubious.
had to.
It's not like that, man. It's like I just like went to these places because it's like, like Tokyo is obviously like, it's the biggest fucking city in the world. It's somewhere like I've always wanted to go. Like I'm a city kid, like
Yeah,
through and through. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in Vancouver. Always wanted to go to New York. Fucking always like, you know what I mean? Big cities are like appealing to me and shit. And especially like ones that are like cramped and like fucking like there's just shit everywhere. It's like sensory overload. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it was just that, like when I went there and just like I have homies over there and shit, and like they were they were cool, like took me around and showed me tons of shit. And yeah, it wasn't just like to go shopping, but like it
Yeah.
was
No,
kind of.
I've heard I heard that there was some change in the airlines that now it's cheaper to fly to Japan, so there's a huge uptick in uh,
It's
Canadian tourism over to Japan. I have a couple other friends actually who have been to Japan in the last year or two. Anyways,
yeah, there's like a new airline which flies out of like 6 or 7 major cities across the world. Vancouver
okay,
is one of them, and now it's like, $1,000 return to go to Japan.
yeah,
So
yeah. So why not? Um, you mentioned this earlier, bro. You said you're still smoking a bunch of blunts, but on the album, 4 years ago, you were talking about how now
got
you're
that
rolling
smoking
skinnies
skinnies.
instead of
Yeah.
smoking blunts. So you're back on the blunts. What's your favorite blunt wrap?
Oh man, so it's like I'm a Swisher kid because like, West
Oh,
Coast.
yeah, man, I love
Um,
Swishers. Fuck.
dude, Swishers are the best, and there's actually a website because we can't get them in Canada; they're illegal, right? Like
I know.
all we can get is Swisher Minis,
Yeah.
and there's a website that my friend put me on to. It's a native reserve,
Okay.
uh, and basically they got the boxes for the low, and basically like they don't always have them or whatever. They just like they see you lurking around on the website, and then like the next day they'll be available, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll have
but
to
like
get you
yeah,
to send me a link afterwards or something.
hundred
This
percent. Yeah,
sounds like it'll be bad for my health because I love Swishers, but
I'm not gonna put any, I'm not gonna put everybody on either. It's a secret, but
yeah,
I'll tell you, bro. And then the
fair.
other thing too is like, so they have backwoods there as well too, which is like I'm kind of a I don't love backwoods. They're a little bit harsh and like I feel like I'm dying every time I smoke one, but I do
But you
like
can
smoking
roll
them.
them fatter, then Swishers are
They're
like the personal blunt. I feel like, I'm going to smoke a Swisher to the head, whereas like a backwoods, that's if you've got some homies.
true that. And so living up here in Kamloops, uh, Gumshoe saying he's gonna log in. He's saying he just got home, so I told him to log in. So he'll
Oh,
be here in
dope.
a second.
Yeah, nice.
But yo, but what the fuck was I gonna say? But yeah,
Talking blunts,
so up here in Kamloops, there's like tons of native reserves,
right?
and one of them I roll by on the regular to go to, like, my meetings for my job and shit. They have it's just like boxes of fucking backwoods, like all flavors and shit, for cash. They're not cheap, but it's just
Yeah.
nice that you can just roll up to the spot and just be like, "Yo, let me get a box of woods assorted." You know what I mean? Like, pretty dope.
I've been smoking a lot of Phillies lately because you can
Ooh,
still get them flavored. Apparently there's something about like if they're Cohiba sized, they're still allowed to
yeah,
sell flavored tobacco or something. So yeah,
interesting.
I've been
I
doing
haven't smoked
Phillies.
a
You can
Philly in
buy
years.
full size flavored Phillies still. But yeah, I do
Interesting,
like
interesting.
backwoods and swishers. Did we? Hey, there he is. How's it going? Gumshoe Strut in the building. Welcome.
Fashionably late. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah,
hell
we can hear
yeah.
you. Yeah, welcome
What
aboard. Good
up?
to have you, man.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Apologies on my extreme tardiness.
Shit happens, man. No worries. No apologies
Hey man,
necessary.
we're all a little tardy sometimes.
I think we're allowed to say that now, right? No, no, the woke is there. No. So, let's see. Where can I start? How's things out in Winnipeg, Gumshoe? What should I call you? The Gumshoe Strut? It's a bit of a mouthful. Is
Yeah, you can
Gumshoe
call
good?
Gumshoe's good. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever.
All right. Sounds good.
Call me BJ, whatever.
Sure. So yeah, how's life in Winnipeg, man?
Well, Winnipeg is all right. I live about 45 minutes outside of Winnipeg in a city called Steinbach. It's
Oh, okay.
about 20,000 people. So it's a little bit smaller town living, but it's we get into the city obviously every few times a week or whatever. But yeah,
Plenty of
so
time for making beats, though. I
plenty of
imagine.
well, Yeah, no, not with the family, but I, we might, might fit it in here and there.
For real. Well, you've been prolific lately, man. You've got, I looked at your on Spotify. You got like some solo albums over the past couple years, and then this one, and there was Styles Make Fights in 2021.
Yeah.
You've been busy recently for sure. Something I wanted to ask both of you guys actually, because you both have long and winding careers that like Chadio's name on IG is Chadio Tree Trunk, and so like he then goes on to list off the handful of label affiliations that he has with Canadian labels, and I was like, are there any Canadian labels that you're not affiliated with at this point? Chadio? But I wanted to ask you both to kind of break down your musical journey into um eras of your career, and just kind of give people who might not be familiar with you a little bit of a background.
Oh, word. Um, I don't know. Should I set this one off a little bit, Chadia?
Yeah, go for it.
Word. So yeah, for me, obviously, I grew up in Winnipeg. I came into the scene in Winnipeg under the Peanuts and Corn era. So those guys were Farm Fresh, Mood Rough, and then we also had other local groups like Freak Show and thing. And those were some of the people that I was really looking up to when I was just kind of late teens, getting up into just turning 20, started making music on my own, started connecting with those guys through the homie John Smith, uh, Bazooka Joe 204, who is the brother of one of my best friends growing up. So I always had a sort of a, you know, I guess a degree of separation from those guys. And then, kind of just ended up as we started making more music, got the opportunity to open up for those guys. So that was kind of the era that I came up in.
Okay.
Just sort of, really got to, you know, uh, rub shoulders with the homies there, myself and Yai. Really really clicked early on, kind of in a similar position, and so we did the Milch and Allegra EP. That was kind of what set us off and got us going. I've always sort of made beats, rapped, and then I was able to, I guess, work with Nestor Windrush. Back in the day, he was called Satchel Paige. Produced an album for him. Made some music. Obviously with Your Brother in My Backpack crew, which was myself, Nestor Windrush, Yai, and Bazooka Joe 204, back then known as John Smith. And then we also had the homie DJ General Gist. That was kind of our crew. So that was like early 2000s. Played a lot of shows, Winnipeg. That was the era. That was the hot era for us. In the city, we got a lot of opening opportunities for shows and things like that. As the late 2000s rolled around, I moved out to Vancouver. That's where I met Chadio. So
Okay.
when I moved to Vancouver, I moved in with DJ Neo Tarek. He had an extra room in his place, and I moved into that room, and he was really really cool with sort of recommending people that he thought I would click with, and the Tree Trunk dudes were who he said were kind of like our parallels, I guess you could say, out there.
Sure.
And so yeah, so I made a point of sort of getting out to shows and talking to Chadio and Azrael, and sort of just getting to know those guys a little bit. I know Chadio invited me over to the tree house at one point. Um, Never really got the chance at that point to really, like make any, true tracks or anything like that. But we also went on tour with Kaboom, Azrael. It was like, what was that, 2006, I believe. So yeah, that was another, great era. And then I think after I moved back to Winnipeg, it was kind of a lull for me a little bit. I made a couple projects, but then I took a couple years off, going back to school, quit smoking weed and stuff like that. And so it was just kind of a change in my life, big change, because I was, I smoked a lot of weed back then. So I had to step away from that, just to sort of, right my own ship. But once I did, yeah, it took me a little bit to get back into the music for a couple years, but I ended up producing an album for Gruff in that era, 2015. It was called what do we call it? Surface
Surface.
Area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Surface Area. So that kind of reinvigorated a little bit of stuff, but I was kind of out of the loop now, and I didn't really have a lot of opportunities to play shows. Didn't have opportunities to like kind of wasn't getting invited out as much to get on tracks and stuff like that, just because I had stepped away for a little bit.
Yeah,
And
that'll
then
happen.
late 20 teens or whatever you call those years, 2000 I think 19, yeah, got me, or 2017 or 18 he got me on a track on his Uneven 11 album, and then it's just kind of starting to get the writing flowing again. And then when COVID hit, I don't know what happened, obviously, like more time at home, things like that, but I was invited by Epic to kind of like join up with the Saskatoon folk rap dudes.
Yeah.
They were having like regular like chats and stuff like that. They had a chat going on, and something just clicked there, and I started getting back into music. And then that's the prolific period of time that you were talking about earlier on, where it's like since then I've been pretty active with making albums. I think I've made like since 2020 probably one, two, three, like five, maybe six albums, seven if you include like remix projects and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
word,
yeah, I
man.
mean that's
Yeah, you've been going heavy with it recently. There's been a lot of good stuff. I didn't
appreciate it.
realize it. Like, would you say your heart is more in production or in the lyricism? Which came first for you?
Every time I think that I'm like kind of maybe getting past the vocal side of things, something happens where I just like I have beats and I don't know, nobody's biting on them or something like that. So then I just start playing around, and then next thing you know, I go on this wave of writing, and then another album happens. And so
Right.
that's
If
how
there's
my
enough beats, nobody's rapping on somebody might as well, right?
exactly, and that's how all these albums have actually happened. They've all were written within like the span of maybe like a month, 2, 3 months, maybe. Um, like they were really concentrated in terms of the writing portion of it. It was never something that I was working on for years per se. Maybe sat on them after a little bit, but
Right.
as far as the writing is concerned, like I would write them and then record these albums, and then yeah, just like take a break,
So
think
so
that I was
Chadio
done.
was mentioning that this album, Root Cellars, has been,
Yeah,
4 or 5 years in the making. Have you had other albums that took that long to put together? Or is this an oddity for you?
I would say like turn there are Yai and the homie Yai and myself. We released Turn the Gun, I think in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. The Perpetual Survival album. That
Right.
we were working on for probably the better part of 2 years, maybe a little more. But this one, we were working on it for a long time, but we kind of sat for a while with it, right? Like it was in a good place for a long time. We just kind of working on other stuff, doing things, and then it was kind of like, okay, we got to finish this album. Like we got songs, let's do this, let's get this out there. And so, I kind of went back and tweaked some stuff up, uh, and was able to sort of, start shoring everything together. And then once we got that kind of going, it was like, okay, what are we gonna do? And Chadio sort of, made the hookups and the connects with, how we were gonna sort of get it out. And yeah, the rest was just,
Nice. Um, I guess Chadio, let's turn the spotlight to you. Can you give a recap of the eras of your music career?
Yeah, I came up freestyling in high school. Uh, Graduated in like 2000 and shit. I was like rapping on the radio. Would call into like the local radio stations and like
I was gonna ask you about that. You mentioned there's bars about that on this new album on Root Cellars, right? That you might not
yeah,
be the MC you are today if it wasn't for
dudes
can't
would let
think of
me
the
cut my
name.
teeth.
Yeah,
100% Maximus Clean, man. Got to shout out
there it is.
Maximus Clean, the
Yeah.
shocker MC, baby. So yeah, he used to have a show called The Morning Drive By on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on 102.7 FM. and you could call in. So the show was from like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So it was before school, pretty much, right? And he'd have a freestyle session where it's like you'd call in 5 MCs, and then like he'd have the beat, and then you'd rap your shit, and then like people would call in and vote for like who they think killed it. You know what I mean?
Would you
And it
be
was
able
one
to
of the
hear the other MCs, or would you have to have the radio on to be
100%.
able to hear
No,
the other
no, yeah,
guys?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you'd like essentially like the way to do it is like you'd be like super close to like a radio, and then like like when you're not rapping, like just like be like, or when you are rapping, like just turn the volume down or whatever so you don't get that feedback or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can fully hear like people dissing and like what the other rappers are saying and stuff like that. It was super fun. But that was kind of what was up, and then like I'm linked up with another kind of crew called 604 Entertainment after that. um Nothing really happened with those guys, but like they did drop a compilation album, which was kind of like I was going by the name Nick Dills at the time. And then one day randomly I met Azrael and Guha at a house party in East Vancouver. They had a crew called Cast Headwork at the time, and they dropped an album called Natural Patterns, which is like a Vancouver classic. Very similar to how like Gumshoe and Yai's Milch and Allegra is like a Winnipeg classic. It's just like one of those like underground rap albums that just like fucking if you know, you know, you know.
Right. The heads in
Um,
the city are familiar with. Yeah.
for sure. And then from then, it's like we just started hanging out all the time. Like I had hooked up Guha with like MC Shay, and Kaboom like came into the mix. Like I knew Kaboom like as well too through like a couple Surrey rappers, and he kind of like came into the fold as well too. And then some other rappers called the Main Offenders joined, and like then Imagination's Tree Trunk was born, and that was kind of like the jam from like 2005 to 2009, let's say. We dropped like 2 or 3 albums, fucking played a bunch of shows, toured like a motherfucker, just like Gumshoe said. Like it was
Yeah.
like around that time, it's like everyone was killing it. We're all like in our fucking like 20s and shit. You know what I mean? Um, and then things kind of tapered off. Still dropping albums, but like got more into like the rave scene, going to Shambhala and Bass Coast, and like rapping at those kind of parties, and like dropped an album or two that was like more like focused around like electro and dubstep
Okay.
and grime and kind of beats and stuff, on a label called East Van Digital. And then kind of like took a hiatus for a few years. Just kind of like didn't really think I had anything left to say on the mic. Got cancer, decided to fucking drop a cancer record called Cancers. Not really talking about the cancer per se, but like that was the project. And then just like Gumshoe said, got the invite from Epic uh, around pandemic time to join the Saskatoon Folk Rap Records crew. And then that's when we first started making these tracks and shit. That's
Damn.
so funny.
Big ups to Epic for spurring you
Yeah,
guys both
dude,
back into action.
for
Definitely.
real. Yeah, Epic is he is like the fucking Kevin Bacon of rap. Like,
Yeah. A couple degrees of separation from anybody in the industry across the country, pretty much.
for sure.
Yeah,
I did,
definitely.
yo, that's crazy too. I didn't know, BJ, that you were like on such hiatus and before Epic gave you the shout.
Yeah, you know what? I should actually mention the one thing that actually got me back into it too. My wife's cousin, who he still has, like he's released a couple things like in the last couple of years. He goes by the name of KCV, but I think it was like 2019, and Mike and I came to Winnipeg, and a couple months later, at KCV, I guess he started chatting up Mike and Nine because I invited him out to that show, told him about Mike and Nine. It was right up his alley in terms of like spiritual rap and all this kind of stuff. And he, I guess, started chatting up Mike and Nine and bartered a verse out of Mike and Nine to rap over one of his songs, and then invited me to jump on the song as a thank you. So I had this song where I just jumped on this weird third verse, on this song with Mike and Nine on it, um, which I'm sure he probably doesn't even remember exists or anything like that. But yeah, that was kind of like just before the whole um, Saskatoon folk rap thing too. So that was kind of like I had a little bit of a verse, kind of a spark there. I was like,
Mm.
maybe I could start playing with this again. And then yeah, and then the Saskatoon folk rap thing came along.
Yo, it's also noteworthy to mention to Doobyis that me and Gumshoe did an album called 50 Fingers
Truth.
with Azrael and Kaboom while we were on tour, and factored in all the beats. and we did the whole album in fucking 24 hours.
Damn. Is it out someplace? What happened to that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it came out on Side Road, on Factory's
Nice.
old label. So it's
So,
like, yeah,
what year are we talking about for that?
2007, 2008, something like that.
Yeah, I
Nice.
can't remember what year that we actually. What year did we actually put it out? Put it out. Was it
07. 07.
okay? Yeah.
Because I remember I dropped Raindrops, DDR, and 50 Fingers all that same year.
Okay, yeah. Because I mean, we put it out probably a good year or two after we
Yeah,
actually
so it's probably
recorded
06 then. But I remember fuck, that was like insane. What
Trying
happened,
to do quick
Doobyis,
math.
is,
It was called 50 Fingers because there were 5 of you. Is that
yeah.
the idea? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. I'm with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why did it happen, or what were you going to tell me?
So we went to Saskatoon, we did our show, and then we went back to Graham's place to like work on a track, and then we just ended up like fucking banging tracks out. Like we did 6 tracks, like boom, in like 12 hours. We just like went back to Graham's and we stayed up all night making music.
Yeah.
And then we boogied to Winnipeg to go do our show, and the fucking Winnipeg show was canceled. Then we drove back to Saskatoon to make more songs with Graham and wrap the album up. Like it was like, yo, we were in Winnipeg and we were having like food at the like mall food court, and I was like, yo, you want to go back to Saskatoon and make some more songs with Factor? I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Get back
That
to the
was
lab. Yeah.
yeah,
Why
dude.
not?
And we made
That's
another 6
nice.
songs in 12 hours, so it was like 12 songs in 24 hours.
I mean, when you got 5 guys with a bunch of talent, I guess it makes sense the music will come together quickly if everybody is in a good
It's
space or whatever.
it's
You
such a
know.
fun album. Like it's not like the greatest or anything like that, but it's like fucking like there's a lot of good songs on it.
There's
Like a
some
lot
really
of
good
them,
songs.
yeah,
Yeah.
Damn.
Like the
Well,
2 or 3 jams that are jams are fucking jams.
yeah, like classics.
so
46
uh
minutes, by the way.
But yeah,
that type of kind of manic recording process where you're just like pushing to get the product done compared to what just happened with this album Root Cellars. You know, now we're in the file sharing era. I assume you guys weren't in the same spot for the creation of this album.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
not at all.
Okay, so something I've kind of asked some people about is like how much sending back and forth happened on this album. Like before songs were called final versions, was there
There was
a
like,
lot of back
okay,
and forth, or was it just kind of like here's the beats, now it's done? Like here's
no,
the beats, here's the
there was
raps,
like,
it's done.
no, I was like the songs I'd send over to BJ, and then when we had like all like the project kind of ready to go, he sent me over a version to listen to. I'd be like, nah, fix this, this, and this. And I think we did that like maybe like 2 or 3 times, like max,
Yeah.
where it
Okay,
was just like a couple things needed tweaking. It wasn't like a major overhaul. It was just like vocals need to be shifted, like just a smidge here and there, and
right.
then fucking yeah, there wasn't like a whole lot of that going on.
Okay, so Gumshoe, can I ask you? Earlier, we were talking about how MCs, as friendly as you know they often are with one another, are it's pretty rare to critique one another's lyrics. On an album like this, do you care what Chadio was saying on any of these beats? Like, would you have ever critiqued any bars or anything like that, or
No.
is that part of the creative process on the MC?
No, not for no, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I think like if we were writing it together, like if I was, doing verses or something like that,
Right.
maybe, have something to chime in on ideas or something like that. Like, what if, we went here, what if we went there? But I mean, my idea, my thinking was, like I want to produce an album for somebody in terms of, like the soundscape, and sort of build it from that side of things. And yeah,
Sure.
like definitely not trying to like have my hand in the the conceptual part of it, like in terms of pulling the ideas together and stuff like that for the songs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
definitely
sense.
leave that to
Yo, I wouldn't have minded, TBH.
fair
I
enough.
think probably
Good
there's a
to
lot
know.
of MCs who, especially as we get older, are would be happy to have that creative feedback from producers who we work with. I know I've worked with guys, my homie DJ Dice, he does At Six with me. And we've done 2 albums together. And I can tell you I get the impression he doesn't give a fuck what I have to say on any of those songs. You know, as long as like it's on rhythm, that's gonna be fine with DJ Dice.
Well,
But like, yeah,
I'll tell you what, like for me, it's something that I kind of long for in a way, actually, because I produce and rap, right? So pretty much everything that I rap on, I produce, with the exception of a few features here or there that I'll, just pop on a verse for a song with somebody, or whatever, right? But
yeah,
like my albums are like my albums. I
full
write them,
creative
record
control.
them, full
Yeah.
creative control. Then I'll play it for some homies and things like that. But even in the early days, back in the day, it's like I wasn't in the room with like a bunch of people writing my music and getting feedback on like my raps. And that for me is something earlier in the early years. You know, like I always felt like I might have been a step behind, some of the homies, like, in that early 2000s eras and stuff like that. I'm totally like happy with, where I've come to. But
Hmm.
like back then it's like, you know, if I would have had like, like a little bit more of a critical like a critique of, some of my stuff,
Yeah.
like I would have came to learn, how to like, I don't know, like carry my voice and things like that. Like it's everything I've learned about my voice and how to use it has just come from like 25 years of goofing around. And it's like I feel like now it's like I'm starting to play around with like, a little bit more like, sing-songy stuff here and there just because I understand my voice. I never understood my voice when I was young. I never understood like, you know, how to get to the depths of it and how to, pull things out like that. And like
Right.
cadence and like, delivery. I just sort of like just rap hard. Just try to rap hard. Or there was a period of time where it was like, based on influences, stuff like that. It's like kind of like just laid back in the cut and just sort of, like kind of a monotone sort of approach and things like that. So
Yeah, we're
whatever.
I wanted to talk to you guys specifically about rapper voices today, actually, because listening to the album, I was like, damn, Chadio, your voice is like very close to speaking tone, right? Like your actual speaking tone, your delivery on most of your songs is going to be pretty close to that tone, I want to say, right? I mean, correct me
Mm-hmm.
if you feel otherwise, but so I think a lot of MCs take a while to find the right voice that they want to use, right? And to like Gumshoe was just saying, to kind of grow into the proper projection and how they want to really use their voice. Do you is this speaking tone something you've always done, or was like when you first started rapping, were you trying different styles? You know, high or low, or more or less emphasis, or whatever. Like, talk about the kind of evolution of the rap voice.
For sure, it's like fucking especially back then, it's like I wasn't making beats, I was just rapping. So it's like, yeah, now that like, I kinda know what I like to rap on, I'm picking the beats that I'm making the songs for and shit most of the time. Um, yeah, I kinda like know how to use my voice better over those beats or how I think, the rap should sound over those beats or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
and to
definitely
choose beats that match your preference, right? That match what you're
yeah,
looking to do. Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
100%. Different
Um,
different fucking things for different occasions.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I think you can tell some guys when they're just new, and then when you hear their music 10 years later, it's like, oh, okay, he really kind of grew into the use of the voice there or whatever. But uh, then there's the odd diamond in the rough who just steps out and is 19 years old and sounds like that the rest of their career too.
Totally.
you know. Um, so you guys are both producers and MCs. Do you practice other elements of hip hop? I know I heard a bar something about your mic is flaring like your, I don't know, spray can
Breaker
does,
that
or
I'm tagging with.
yeah,
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 I don't really get down with the paint. I'm not really proficient in all that shit, but I do like to draw with pencil and uh, markers and Sharpie and shit like that. I don't fancy myself like a fucking super talented artist, but I know how to get down and I can bust some letters and shit.
what about this upcoming project? Draw something? What was it called? Something with
Yeah,
draw in the title?
yeah, draw something. But that's just like that was just like a reference to just like yeah. I mean, like it's kind of like yeah, it's the same kind of thing. It's just like yeah, draw something, you know, draw a picture or whatever. But like for
Just
music,
create something, kind of, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I get it. Um let's do this. What's one concept or theme from this album that you hope people don't miss? That's open to either of you guys. If anybody
I
has a good answer.
well, I don't know. I personally feel like this, like with like Bring It Back and uh, fuck, what do we call the last song? What's the last song called?
Let
In
me
a
look.
minute.
It's called It Been a
In
Minute.
a
Yeah.
minute.
Been a minute, yeah, been a minute. It's like I mean, these are all just like you know we're getting older. Um, call your friends, call your mom.
Tell the people you love that you love them. Yeah, I say that on my shows sometimes too. You know,
Fuck yeah,
anytime there's an RIP for anybody, I always make sure to yell that shit out on Attic. Make sure
yeah. I
you
don't
let the
know.
people you love know.
I feel like I'm like I'm on like some grown man shit as far as like the raps go a little bit on some of
Yeah.
the songs, anyways. Not all of them, but like fucking yeah,
Yeah, that checks out. I would agree. It is definitely grown man raps for the majority. There's a couple times you go into some battle rappy, you know, stuff.
yeah.
Typical MC bars or whatever, right? But yeah, a lot of the stuff is very introspective and you know, I think you have a good way of expressing complex emotions with with simplified uh lines, I guess, like by making complex things uh nice and concise in
Yeah,
your
like
music.
I don't think that like I don't think a lot of the topics like are gonna go over people's heads here. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty
Right.
like fucking it's pretty straightforward.
For real. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay. Um how about well, you're both producers. I can ask you both this. Can you describe, without thinking about how big of a question this really is too hard, describe your favorite type of samples?
Gumshoe.
Hmm. I like. I don't know if there's a particular like type of sample that I like or whatever, but what I tend to enjoy getting out of a sample is like when I, I sample something and then it kind of goes into like, it's like the beginning of a song or something like that, or, a break in a song, you have this cool sample, you sample it and then it breaks into like the vocals come in or something like that on the track. And then you get that little bit of like a voice singing or whatever it might be. And
Right.
I'm always manipulating my beats to like slow things down like incredibly, chopping it up or whatever, or even like flipping it in reverse or something like that. But you get that little bit of a that soul sound out of it, and you can just sort of like start to fit those kind of things into the beat by chopping it and just like interlacing it somehow. I kind of like look for that kind of stuff to play with, right? Not just, a simple loop where I can kind of, loop it, throw some drums on it, match up,
Set it and forget it
bass line or
almost, right?
whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I like
That's
to,
my favorite. That's my favorite kind of sample.
I got really into, playing with this machine. Like I used to like find like loops and, just kind of loop either like a, quarter bar, half bar or bar, whatever, 2 bars. But I found this like using the machine, like yeah, just like kind of playing out samples and stuff like that, and like like finding different like sequences of them and stuff like that. Something that I can just bust up like that. That's what I'm looking for, really, to be
Something to
honest.
chop down and get technical with. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and the exact opposite from you, eh, Chadio?
I don't know, man. I'm like a fucking like because I'm a rapper, right? And it's like anytime like when I started making my beats, it was like, hey, I'm just gonna make these beats for like people to rap on. So anytime like I'm making a beat, that's kind of what I'm thinking. You know, like I do make beats that are like, oh, this would be good for like an interlude or like whatever. But a lot of them are like a couple bar loops because I
Right.
fucking yeah. Like you find like a good fucking infectious loop, and it's just like, oh, like I can listen to a fucking 1 bar or 2 bar loop for like fucking hours. You know what I mean? I have
I
when I
do. I
write.
do
You know
know
what I
what
mean?
you mean. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. When
And I
writing
do,
bars, you got
and
to
I do.
sometimes, for
Yeah.
sure. So Chadio, you did, I want to say, I don't know, last year, I don't know when it was, time blurs together quite effectively, but you had a series on IG going where you were doing weekly bars. Um, what did you learn doing that? Or what was your takeaway
It's
from that?
it's coming back. I'm gonna bring it
Yep.
back. I just fucking yeah. I don't know. Just haven't been the place where I was living and shit. My neighbors downstairs were like super like grumpy and like unfriendly and shit. And it's
Mhm.
like they never said nothing, but I always just kind of like felt like I was like bothering them with just like living my life upstairs. So now that I have like this pad to myself and I'm gonna get all set up, like I'm gonna fucking bring it back. But the Sunday bars is nice because like I don't know, like when you're in that kind of like urge to when you're just like fucking writing and shit all the time because it comes in spurts, especially as you get
Yeah.
older. Uh, it's just nice to have like an outlet to just kind of like share that with people, and that's why I do it is just to like kind of like share. You know, I wrote like some nasty rhyme. Check it out. You know what I mean? Here's this beat I've always wanted to rap on, and like, there's no way I'm gonna like put it on a mixtape or an album or whatever. And it's like, yeah, fucking dude, I have like just so many beats where it's like they're in the Sunday bars folder for when I'm ready to like, yeah,
What
because
about
yeah,
the
there's
bars
so
themselves? Did any of that stuff make it onto an album?
yeah, so that's a lot of the or quite a few of the things that I really like from the Sunday bars that I've dropped so far. I've put on the Draw Something too, but I think
Okay.
like again, I'm just gonna compile that all together on Draw Something when the time is ready.
So I'm confused with this draw. Is Draw Something one out right now? Did I sleep on this? Or
No,
oh, okay, okay,
it's just red to go,
okay.
and
I
then Draw
got you.
Something,
It's
and
in the
then Draw Something,
vaults.
yeah, and Draw Something too is just like fucking mad shit, and it needs to be whittled down. So next year, that's kind of my focus for next year. What's fucking coming up real quick though is Chadio Head 2.
Nice.
That's yeah,
Radiohead remixes or what's
yeah,
Chadio Head?
fucking
Okay,
and Solo hasn't announced it yet, but I did Chadio Head a few years ago, where it's
yeah,
just like put all the No Wives Club acapellas over Radiohead beats that I made or Radiohead beats that I sampled, and then
dope,
two is gonna be like all my lyrics from my old album Underestimated Raindrops over again more Chadio beats or Radiohead
nice,
beats. Yeah,
nice, yeah.
cassette week.
Um, so I guess a lot of artists I talk to are not fans of the kind of modern requirement to be an artist that you need to be constantly promoting yourself one way or the other on social media. I think going on and rapping every week is a very authentic and I mean it's a flex too, right? It's a way to be on social media and in people's faces or whatever. So I always applaud people doing those types of things, whether it's weekly or just at a random pace whenever it strikes. I think more rappers should be rapping on their social media.
I've got
Uh,
it fine. I've got it like fine tuned to like making an episode and shit. Like it really doesn't take all that time from like start to finish, but like it still does. It's time consuming. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's like it's still a pain in the ass to do. Like I'd like to get to a point where it's like I just got them on deck, just like kicking in a vault, and then like when I want to drop one, I can just put it out. As opposed to
yeah.
like making it like that morning and then putting it out like that. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
That's always
Um,
been my problem trying to get anything like that together. I always think about it. I got ideas, and then I don't have the time.
It takes
Really,
time. Yeah.
yeah.
Weird. So, Gumshoe, Chadio and I talked a little bit before you got here about gear, and he was mentioning how he has the entire SP collection at this point. And something I was thinking about earlier that I wanted to ask you was throughout the course of your production career, how long, or sorry, how many different iterations, I guess, of gear have you kind of used, and do you think that um, there was ever really a step of gear that made your output be better actually, or when
Yeah.
producers get new gear does it just kind of let them do the same thing with an easier workflow or something?
It's not always the gear. Sometimes it's just like a switch up will just sort of, like you get inspired to just get to work, right? So early on, when I was first starting, with production and stuff like that, I was just working off of like this little Yamaha SU10 sampler, MIDI'd up to a drum machine. And then once, I convinced my mom to buy a PC. We got a PC, and I got, I think, what was I using at the beginning there? Like SoundForge or something like that I was using,
Okay.
to try to whip together beats. Um, and I used that for a while. And then uh, after a number of years, once Ableton kind of came into the mix for me, Ableton
Yeah.
Live, I was on Ableton Live for a long time, but I had switched up sort of like how I approach making beats. So for a long time, it was like samples. I was sampling things into Ableton Live and so on and so forth. But then there was one point where I kind of like, during that hiatus period that I was talking about in like 2011, 12, I started like, I gave away like most of my records, um, just because I was like downsizing my apartment and stuff like that. I gave them to a close friend, so they're always at arm's length. But I started making beats just using like, like synths and stuff like that. And so it was like no samples. And so I probably spent like 7 years without sampling things. And that taught me so much. It like changed how I understood beats and understood production. And then once like COVID hit, I was still making, beats without samples and things like that. But then I was like, I kind of want to, let me dig in my crates and, picked up
Right.
some records, and I started, flipping some samples again. And then I got all inspired, and I went on this like hot streak of making based beats. And I started looking at different like different production videos and stuff like that. And I discovered like, like the Machine MK3, um, which is like a, just like a piece of hardware, but you you can use it, in conjunction with your computer as well. So it kind of was like this hybrid where you can like make your beats right there on the hardware, but it's
Hmm.
linked up to your computer, so you can get, just go right on there and also
Best of
edit
both
anything
worlds,
that you
almost.
want
Eh?
to. Yeah, best of
Yeah.
both worlds. But you chop things up, like you record, and you have the interface to chop and see your waves and on the actual machine. You can, like slice your samples, all that kind of stuff right there on the machine. And that was like 2021. So Styles Make Fights was the first album that I put out using that machine.
Okay. Yeah.
So the difference between the production on Heartbeat EP, which was the first album I released when I kind of got back into things, that was in 2020. Then 2021, in between those two albums, which is probably only the difference of like 7, 8 months between the times that they came out. But I had picked up that machine, started like going ham on making beats on that thing, chopping things up, and like learning how to like play out samples using the pads and stuff like that, play out drums using the pads and whatnot. And that kind of changed how I approached making beats, and I've been using that ever since. And it's just, it's kind of changed the sound of my beats. I know like some people, I used to have like this, I don't know, kind of sort of like marchy kind of rhythm to my beats and things like that back in the day, which, there's still some of that. I think that, that lays over, but
Tapping
just,
pads, that's kind of a new advancement then, hey, to actually
yeah,
be punching in samples that way. Okay. Cool.
for sure.
Yeah. Chadio, I was just talking with Thomas from Han Solo about how you're flexing your house on the rest of us. I'm quite jealous that you get to just smoke because you own a house, and my broke ass has to go out onto my rental's balcony if I want to burn
Yo,
something.
yo, my bro. So actually, there's this thing that I copped because I was like, I'm an inside smoker. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of the fucking. I gotta have it. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. So there's a thing you can buy called. It's on a website called Enviro Cleanse. Enviro Cleanaz or whatever the fuck. And it's
Okay.
just like this box. It's an air purifier, but it's like industrial grade. So it's noisy as shit, but like it's just sucks all the fucking smoke and then like
Nice.
produces clean fucking air. It's not
During
cheap.
COVID, we picked up a couple of great big huge air purifiers. So my one bedroom apartment has Yeah, I think the air in here cycles through like 4 or 5 times an hour, some shit like that by
Yeah.
volume. Yeah,
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 it's like that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I had that at my last place. I still have it running here, even though I don't really fucking need it. But yeah,
yeah,
smoking
yeah.
inside, baby, all day.
Beautiful, beautiful. Guys, this thing is stretching a little bit longer than I thought it might, Chadio. I hope we're not keeping you from getting to your dinner. I got a
I'm
couple
starting to
more.
make it. I'm
Okay,
starting to
yeah,
make
well,
it.
it's a cooking video now. Um, I wanted to ask you guys though, with kind of the way that AI has been progressing, I've heard a lot about producers using it to make samples to sample. Um, what are your thoughts on this?
Fuck that.
Yeah, no, not
Fair.
happening.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a quick one to answer, but
Well,
you
it's
know,
just like fuck. I think like we all kind of feel the same way about it. Like AI is like good for fucking certain things, but not fucking creative, like creative stuff like that. Where it's like I don't want it drawing my fucking graffiti for me. I don't want it fucking making my
yeah.
beat. I don't want it thinking of my rap. Like fuck off.
Yeah, I heard. I forget what the name of the young rapper saying that he used AI to make his rhymes was, but there was somebody on an interview clip that I saw a couple of weeks ago talking about that. Some American guy, and
Mm.
yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. That's pretty pathetic if you're asking AI to write your bars for you, in my opinion.
Well, it's like
Um,
there's already like AI artists apparently that are like performing at like Coachella and shit like that. It's just like I don't know,
yeah,
man. Like fuck,
that's fucked up.
this is where we're at in the timeline, I suppose. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
So right before this interview, actually, I saw Demiza on IG was talking about how apparently today Spotify updated their terms of services, and now by uploading our music to Spotify, we're also giving them permission to train their AI off of our shit, which he says includes like, you know, the rights to like recreate and make covers and fucking make new works out of our music. And I was like, what the fuck? Is everybody going to actually get off Spotify finally? Um, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on Spotify? Let's put it that way.
I'm trying to get all my shit off Spotify. Fuck Spotify. I fucking
Yep.
hate Spotify.
That's the consensus among
I
artists,
mean,
I think, is fuck Spotify, right?
you know, you keep thinking like, oh yeah, maybe you know this one will get listened to more. Like, you know, like for the amount of like plays things are gonna get, like realistically for you know artists at you know this sort of like you know stage in the game, you know, it's like yeah, it doesn't work for me. Like it doesn't make sense. I mean, I have my music there, you know, I keep it
Yeah.
there just for you know ease of access and things like that.
That's the
But
thing. It's a necessity for us to put the music on there if anybody's ever going to fucking hear it. But
right,
uh
like telling somebody go check my yeah I'm on Spotify versus telling somebody yeah go listen to my Bandcamp, like you know like somebody new that you meet or something like that. It's a little bit you know
It's
it's a little
true.
bit again it's a little bit more accessible and just that's like the only benefit that I
I
find.
will say, like running a show, it makes my life easier because I've hit follow on like at this point almost 1,000 different Canadian hip hop artists, and so every week I get like a release radar from Spotify that without it telling me these guys dropped these songs this week, I would miss all sorts of music, right? So like as is, I listen to 8 hours worth of new music every week and choose what I like to buy and play on AtSick, but uh, without Spotify as a hub for everybody's music, I don't know if I could recreate that on Bandcamp. You know, like I like buying people's music through Bandcamp, but it
Right.
just isn't as much of a hub for absolutely everybody's music, right? So it's kind of a catch 22 dilemma where we're all everybody hates it, but everybody still uses it, right?
Something's gonna come along at some point though that kind of I think appeases everybody. It's gonna come. You know what I mean? If it's not that, then I think we're gonna get I don't know a resurgence in fucking physical media somehow. Something's gonna happen because
I've
this
heard
ain't
the
it.
I've heard the theory that people will be more and more interested in seeing musicians at live shows as,
Mm.
you know, AI enters the music space and there are, like you said, AI artists who are somehow performing at Coachella. Like, is it a hologram or what are they? what do they put on stage? There's got to
Yeah,
be somebody on stage. Like,
I can't remember what exactly it was or the group name that I saw, but I was just like, oh fuck, like this sucks. You know, like I
yeah.
didn't bother to. Obviously, I'm not going to
I
bother
heard
to check it
Timbaland
out.
has some AI artist that he's been promoting
I've
or
heard that.
something.
I've
But
heard that too, which is
yeah,
like just weird. Like
yeah.
Timbaland, dude, did you know that Timbaland fucking like the way he makes or like the way he made a lot of his like big beats is just like he'd be just thinking of like a rhythm with like his mouth, like just playing it with his mouth, and then he would like record that and then fucking make like a beat or like make put the sounds in place of where his fucking mouth was. That's
I mean, I guess
insane.
it makes sense. A lot of the so he'd beatbox something and then replace the
Yeah.
noises with other sounds. Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes sense because a lot of his beats have the like brr, brr, brr noises that he's making with his mouth in them or whatever, right? Like, yeah. He keeps some of the vocals actually in there. Okay, guys. So I promise we'll wrap this thing up real quick here. I do a segment with every guest that I have called "How Important Is," and I just ask a couple of rapid fire. How important is this or that? So you can be long winded or just say like that's not important at all, and we'll go on to the next one. But how important is banter for a stage show between songs?
Gumshoe.
Depends on the artist. It's I've always sucked at it myself, and it's something that like I always really enjoy when I watch a show, but I'm not good at it.
Right.
So I just, I wish I could just go song to song, bang, 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 but you know, just doesn't work that way, you know.
That's
I
my
mean,
sentiment
sometimes you can
exactly.
get away with it. If you got a DJ who's actually going to like drop the next beat on cue or whatever, sometimes you can do a few songs back to back without having to banter too much. But yeah, banter, I
Well,
don't
even
know.
it's just the awkwardness of it, right? Sometimes, right? Like you feel the need to say something or feel the need to address the crowd. But what I've also learned too in recent years and watching some artists that don't do a lot of banter but are amazing performers, it's like just be up there and be confident even in
Yeah.
silence, right? Like
Yeah.
the way you look around, the way like your posture, whatever it is, as long as you carry it right, it's like it's dope. Like
Don't
it's
do
gonna
nervous silence. People will see the nervous silence, but yeah, you're right. If you
exactly
stand
like
there confidently in silence, they'll see that
pacing
too.
back and forth, looking like you want to say something. Like
Right.
that's never fun. And I know I've been guilty of that many, 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 many times. Um,
Well, thinking about
but
it now, like your guys' album starts with Chadio being like, "I hate these fucking intros. I never have anything to say," doesn't it? so, so that's kind of like banter. It's album banter, really.
Yeah, yeah, my sentiments exactly. It's like I love it, but I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy to do it. I'm terrible
yeah,
at it.
you know,
You got to
it's
be a
like
half a
even my
stand-up comedian to do it really well, I think. You know.
having coming up under the PNC guys, like they were always pretty funny with it, right? Like Pipskid, Honeycut, like they were always like great at banter. Like just sort of, there would always be these great little like in between songs, sort of like things that they would just riff about, and it would
Yeah.
be absolutely hilarious. And then like during like the fermented reptile area, like Pippi would go on a rant about something, like leading into an next song, right? But then you have Gruff, who is like stone quiet in between songs, and just goes from song to song. But he's like one of my favorites to watch.
Yeah.
So
Where
it's
I mean, I
interesting.
think even having somebody on stage with you, whether it's a hype man or another person in your crew or a DJ, even having somebody up there helps because then you can talk to them for stage banter rather than having to like tell the crowd about how you wrote the next song for this or that reason or whatever else, right?
Or just
Anyways,
keep continuously asking them to make noise.
yeah, yeah. When I say hip, y'all say hop. Um, So, okay, let's go on with these things. How important is any specific substance to your artistic process? Gumshoe kind of touched on the lack of this substance being
Coffee.
beneficial to
Co-
his. Oh, okay. Oh,
Coffee's
coffee,
it.
sure.
Coffee's it nowadays for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about
Coffee will
it.
do it. Is it because you like working late at night? Do you just stay up late working on music?
No, usually it's like at the end of my work day, before I have to go pick up like kids from daycare. I'll sort of like transfer desks and go from my work desk because I work primarily from home, and then jump on the music desk and spend an hour or whatever I can, just pumping something out.
Makes sense. How about you, Chadio? How important is
I don't
any
know if I've
specific
ever
substance?
tried. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever tried making a song not on weed. Like I only think there's like a few, maybe handful of days in my adult life where it's like I haven't. It's just because I haven't had access to it. You know what I mean? If I could
Yep,
smoke weed every day, I would. So yeah,
that
there's
checks
like
out.
certain places I won't travel and shit like that just because like fucking I don't want to run the risk of what if.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but
Speaking of places you won't travel, will you guys any plans to do shows or tours into America anytime soon?
I'm banned.
Oh, okay. Well, that's out of the question then.
I I don't play shows locally, so I'm not going anywhere else to play shows really. Maybe Saskatoon at the.
Yeah,
I'll have
the
more
summer
people
fling.
at a show in Saskatoon than I'll have here, in Winnipeg. So
Word makes sense. Have you didn't mention living in Saskatoon? How come you got so much of a fan base out there? Is it just the Saskatoon Folk Rap Records crew?
didn't mean to imply that I have so much of a fan base. No, we
Well,
have
sure.
the fan base would be the homies, right? Like, so all the homies from Saskatoon and all their counterparts, usually come out, and it's just a really supportive atmosphere when you go to Saskatoon. Like Chadio was there with, we were there for Summer Fling last year, and I mean, it's a small crowd that we play to for like the outdoor, like barbecue or whatever you call it. But
Right.
like, just again, just a cool, fun atmosphere. Everybody's like, they're listening, they're having a good time, they appreciate it. um and they're all there for you, like, you know what I mean, like, just in terms of,
Oh yeah. Yeah, good
yeah,
artist
just
community. Yeah,
enjoying.
that goes a
Yeah,
long ways for
exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, what how important is pressing vinyl for an album?
Well, super important, but super expensive, so
Yeah,
I don't fuck with it.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like depends on the project. Like, I would love to do it for every fucking project if I could, obviously,
Yeah.
but I also feel like I don't know. I'm the one who's going to be fucking funding it, so certain projects for me are fucking worth putting the money up.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. This answer might be along those same lines, but how important is making music videos these days?
No, I mean, same answer really, but like I'm still not doing it. I mean, like you can't really fucking get anybody to listen to your album if you don't have like some sort of visual
Right.
accompaniment for it. You know what I mean? And I thought, like, since we had like so much time to get this album done, I really wanted to get a video for uh fucking Been a Minute. I thought that would have been such a good song for a video and just like have a bunch of homies, you know what I mean? Like fucking like what up, all that kind of shit, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
alas. Well, I mean, like me and Azrael talked about it, but like Azrael's a busy guy too. Azrael's like the video guy.
Okay.
Azrael Raps Good also does videos. Um and but yeah, because I relocated up to Kamloops, it's just fucking like hard to connect with people and shit. I'm kind of isolated out here.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
How about yourself, Gumshoe? Are you a fan of music videos?
Yeah, I'm a fan of music videos. Like, for my last couple albums, I try to just do my own DIY kind of things. Um, make a music video. Like, I'll just walk with selfieing myself, recording and rapping, and try to make it mildly interesting if I can. I did one for Whirlwind on my last album where or one of my last albums, where I tried to, like, just throw in some, like, scattered words and stuff like that, just to draw a little bit of attention, add some effects to the video, just so it's not whatever. But I had one other opportunity to do a video with Staple Mouth for a song from that album as well, and he actually recommended this visual artist, that he had done some videos with. She's located over, I believe in, I want to say France, um, but she basically like I just recorded in my room over, in darkness with a flashlight. She took that and made it into like this really cool sort of like visual scape, and he did the same. So it actually ended up, kind of blending us into the same shots sometimes and
Oh,
stuff like
okay.
that. So like it worked out really cool.
Nice.
So I like it, and I think it's super important, but it's like we were talking about earlier, it's just time consuming.
Yeah. Well, and expensive too. If well, depending what you're going to do. I mean, if you're DIYing it, you
Yeah.
can get away with making videos on the cheap too. But um, I will admit, I am. This is like my most hater opinion of anything is that I don't give a fuck about music videos. I never have. I can't think of a single music video that has changed my opinion on any song. Like I I listen to music with my ears. I don't really need to see a visual interpretation of it, really. I don't know, but I do agree that they're very important in the modern era because like you said, you can't get anybody to listen without a visual, so it is what it is, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
here, let's do one more of these. I should have asked you this, Chadio, when I had the Dirty Sample on to talk about No Wives Club several years ago. It would have been a better time to ask you this one, but how important is finding or having the right romantic partner for an artist?
Not whatsoever. Not in the fucking least bit. They're a deterrent. For me personally, man, it's like I'm always make the best art when I'm like fucking not like going through some shit, not in a good space, whatever. Like when I'm at like my happiest and things are fucking awesome, I'm not
Yeah.
making the fucking best rap of my life. I'm telling you that much. I come like my favorite fucking rap group is like Mob Deep. You know what I mean? So or they're
Not
one
so
of my
much
favorite
happy
rappers.
music from Mob Deep.
No, I mean Outcast is one of them too, and Outcast make happy music. But fucking yeah, no, none of that. Because like fucking dude, I don't know. I fucking feel like that even like yeah, it's just no.
Outcast makes music that sounds happy, but then you listen to it and like realize that he's rapping about how he'll never find love or like singing about how he'll never find love or whatever some of the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, they definitely have some happier stuff than Mob Deep though. But
for sure.
what about you, Gumshoe? How important is the right romantic partner for an artist?
I mean, I think it's all comes down to a person, right? Like, I mean, for me, it's like it doesn't make or break how I make music. If I have my own time to, get in my zone and make my music, I'm gonna make what I make, whether I have a romantic partner in my life or not. Like my wife, she tolerates me making music. Like it, she doesn't. She's not a musician herself. She doesn't, like I
Yeah.
talk about it way too much or more than I should, and she listens, she puts up with it. So I appreciate that, right? I mean, at the same time, it's like, you know, like, could I, just like run off and hide in the studio and, make music all night, every night? Absolutely not, right?
Yeah.
But, so you find that balance, and I think, balance works for me. You know what I mean? If I was doing that, that's when I stop. Actually, the harder I try with music, I think like the less productive I am for some reason. So
That makes
I
sense.
think
Yeah.
I think
Just
finding my opportunities and like getting it in when I can get it in, I tend to come out with like like some yeah, being a little bit more prolific that way.
nice.
So I'm a pretty
So
busy guy.
I swear I was going to end this interview right after that question, but in chat here, Han Solo Records is asking, how did Chadio deal with Japan and not being able to smoke weed? Was Japan one of the places that you're not allowed to
Yeah,
smoke weed?
that's crazy. So actually, so one of the homies over there, big up Yeska, was like, "Yo, like, what do you need, bro? You want some pussy? You want some coke? Like, we like, I get whatever the fuck you want, bro." But I was like, "Nah, nah, nah. I think I'm just gonna take it easy." Like I was there for a week, and I just like wanted to experience Japan, like just fucking raw. And like surprisingly, like I didn't go through any withdrawals or cold sweats or anything like that. Was able to sleep every night, like no problem. I got shit faced like fucking more times than I should have.
There.
But yeah, it was a non-issue. If I go back, I'm probably gonna get some weed.
That's the beauty of weed, though, what you just said, that you don't have cold sweats, you don't have withdrawals. I mean, I worked at a supervised consumption site for 3 years, and I ran a music program at that supervised consumption site, and I had to ask whether or not I could write songs while I was sober, and I found out, yeah, I can. I don't prefer to, but if I'm going to be in a professional setting writing this music with people who are struggling with addiction, then I should probably be sober. I would think, and so I was, of course, all the time. And like, um, yeah, I don't think that it's ever something that stopped people from making good music, but
I could
to
do
each
it.
their own, Yeah, yeah, yeah. How about okay? So before I let you guys out of here, there's a couple questions I ask everybody. Can you describe your local hip hop scenes?
There's not one here.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah, Steinbach. I don't know. There might be something. There
Steinbeck.
might
Yeah.
Steinbeck.
Right,
Well,
bro.
I thought
I've
we'd
never
talk
even
about
heard of that one.
Winnipeg, but yeah, okay.
Winnipeg. I mean, there's always a hip hop scene. There's tons of kids doing it. I have a cousin who's, I think he's like 21 or something like that right now. He's the one that kind of like, I kind of like watch him on social and like see vicariously like sort of what's going on in that younger scene, things
Right.
that he's like kind of sharing and whatnot. And I know there's a ton of stuff going on, but I don't get out to anything. So I, I'm there's a lot, just
An
not with me
outsider
in it.
watching
That's
the
all.
scene online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that, man. So how about name some other artists that people should be up on? Just I like spreading the love and letting people know, if they like your guys' music, they might also like music from
Nolto, MC Homeless, uh, Epic. Who else? Sign One, Id Obelisk. Check out Othar Records, Othar.
Yeah. Staple Mouth.
Staple Mouth, Dren, Noah 23. Uh, man,
pretty good
Dirty
list.
Sample. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That all checks out. I would agree. If people like your music, they'll probably like those people's music as well. Um, any shout outs you want to make there, Gumshoe?
Shout out, same. It's just, shout out anybody that's checking things out still
Well, for
following,
the
still.
artists I meant specifically. Sorry, I was just passing the mic over to you to shout out some artists if you want to.
Oh shit, yeah, no. I mean, like basically, Chadio stole the names right out of
Okay.
what I would have been thinking, right? Keeping it with like the homies who are working hard. Rove, like I said,
Oh, yeah, Rove.
Staple Mouth is is a crazy MC, musician. Nolto, Noblonsky, like
Where's
those.
Staple Mouth
Blonsky.
based out of?
He was in, I believe, Colorado. He is currently in Nevada,
Okay.
as far as I'm
Yeah.
aware.
I've
Yeah,
seen that name
but
around,
he's
but
but I think he's been around. I think he's been in some other places as well. I'm not entirely
he's
up on it.
American though.
So
He's
yeah,
not
oh
a
yeah,
fellow Canuck. Okay. Yeah.
he's not a
Yeah.
Canuck, but
I
yeah, I
gotta
was.
admit, I play so much Canadian music and listen to so much Canadian music that I've very nearly tuned out everything from America at this point in my own listening. But yeah, it is what it is.
I was just going to do a plug for Nolto and Nablonsky have an album coming out
Nice.
called Amazing Saturday, which should be, if it's not out later this year, very early 2026. Uh, I did some mixing and mastering for it. It'll be on vinyl, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Hansel is handling the Canadian side of things, um, but that album is insane. So
Nice.
Noto is insane. He is my fucking favorite Canadian rapper, singer, whatever the fuck you want to call him. He is amazing.
yeah.
And and Noblonsky, also the homie, and fucking big up Rove also.
Word.
Yeah.
How about, okay, so you gave shouts to all the people you have worked with. Let's do this. Can you guys name a Canadian who you'd like to work with that you haven't yet?
Danielson.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
Danielson is dope.
Mocha only.
Ooh, good
There
one.
you go.
I've worked
Good
with
picks.
Mocha, so I would say that one. But yeah, that's a good pick.
I asked that same thing to Quake Matthews, and I think he was like Drake, Celine Dion, and I don't know.
I love it.
Just the biggest names he could think of.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Why not?
That's the best.
Breathe it into reality, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else you guys need to plug before we pull the plug on this thing? Shows, tours, or anything like that to tell people about?
I just, I mean, I'll just make mention that I've been on heavier on the production side of things like in the last year. I got a couple projects that I'm working on. So one of them is a remix sort of like project, basically just remixing a bunch of jams from some homies and some other, acapellas I can get my hands on. Kind of intended for that to be a precursor to my production album, which will be like all my production with various
Nice.
MCs or folks on it. Chadio's got a song in there, and then, yeah, like other folks like Staple Mouth, got 23 on there. Some surprise artists actually
Nice.
managed to get get a track with Riddlor, another one with Soul. So yeah, looking forward to that album.
I wish more producers would do projects like that where they get a bunch of different MCs on their production and put an album out with it. I think that's a beautiful idea. I love it when producers do that. I did want to ask you too, Gumshoe, do you sell beats? Do you like, I'm asking this just for the benefit of all the MCs out there.
Yes.
I know I run into plenty of MCs and talk to plenty of MCs who don't know where to get beats or would rather buy from someone who isn't just some random guy on BeatStars or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I have sold beats here and there. I don't like work to
have a
try to
BeatStars.
make yeah, I don't work to try to make it my thing,
Yeah.
but I'd happily like sell beats and like help somebody out like with post production on the beat and stuff like that, work around their vocals, whatever.
Yep. Nice. Chadio, anything you want to get off your chest before this thing ends?
No.
Okay.
Could go run up that Root Cellars, baby. No,
Yeah.
big up Han Solo Records each and every time. Thomas Quinlan is a fucking legend in the game, still fucking believing in fucking 40-plus-year-old rappers that still want to put out music and stuff. So yeah, Thomas Quinlan all day, every day. Han Solo Records forever.
Hell yes. Big ups, Thomas. He's in chat right now. Props to Han Solo Records. I appreciate all the music that he sends over to me for AtSick and, setting up interviews like this and stuff. I appreciate you guys for being here, doing this, spending your time talking to me. It's always fun for me to nerd out on hip hop. Hope you guys had a good time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us, brother.
Of course. My pleasure. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.
All right.
All right, so that was that. We are back to fly in formation every week. This was supposed to happen on Tuesday. We had to bump it till today on Sunday. It is what it is, but we will be back to regular rotation of Tuesday interviews coming up on the 9th. I'm talking to Word Burglar. And for now, we're still locking down dates after that with people, but I assure you I'll be back talking to somebody every Tuesday over on twitch.tv/Doobyis. If you like this music that I play on AtSick, if you like the music you hear when you go check out Root Cellars, do artists a favor, buy some music. You don't have to buy physicals necessarily. If you don't feel like spending that much money, buy digital. Buy yourself MP3s and build an MP3 library. That is still a way to put some money into your favorite artists' pockets. And, you know, I harp on it all the time, but it would be great if people would support music that wasn't made by millionaires and pushed by billionaires. But everybody just wants to do what's popular, and they'll just all seem to crowd in behind Drake and Taylor Swift if you let them. I won't let them. I'm going to stand on my goddamn soapbox and yell at them. Support some independent artists. The fucking rich people don't need any more of your money. It is what it is. I'll be back with Word Burglar on Tuesday. I hope to see y'all then. Peace.